and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying out its prayer. Why are we so ashamed to be alive? Break the chains and our freedom's ours to take. Look behind your back. Chase a light when the world is getting darker. I have a dream where love's the only side. So take my hand, join the army of the shadows. Going harder, we are more than numbers, standing in the shade. Going louder, we are all one color, standing in the way. Join the army of the shadow. Join the army of the shadow. Join the army of the shadows, shadows, shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Going harder, we are more than numbers, standing in their shade. Going louder, we are all one color, standing in their way. Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying out its prayer. Why are we so ashamed to be alive? Break the chains and our freedom's ours to take. Going harder, we are more than numbers, standing in the shade. Going louder, we are all one color, standing in the way. Don't look behind your back. Chase a light when the world is getting darker. I have a dream where love's the only side. So take my hand, join the army of the shadows. Going harder, we are more than numbers, standing in the shade. I'm free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying out its prayer. Why are we so ashamed to be alive? Break the chains and our freedom's ours to take.
So welcome back, traders, to another exciting live stream. If you're just joining us, click on the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, turn on the notification bell so that I get notified whenever we're having this live stream. So the logic behind this, hope you can hear me clearly. So let's start on with gold. Let's go back to gold. So we are currently on the gold chart. We are on the 4-hour time frame. Remember, we always start our analysis using the higher time frame. And as you can clearly see, the first thing when we come to our chart is to identify the overall trend of the market, which is down. Price is down. This is the 4-hour time frame. Price is making the lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high structure. So we are only looking for selling opportunity. So we isolate this last candle, because after any strong push phase like this, if the candle, if at least retrace it move or pull back to at least 50% retracement before we can get an overall continuation down. So that was why we mark out this level. We expect a 50% retracement, and once price pull back for the retracement and we start identifying weak rejection through scaling down technique, that was the only time we'll take the sell for a continuation back down, because we are only looking for selling opportunity on gold. You can see the candle is already turning bullish. We expect price to retest this last level, this level here. This is our 50% retracement level. Once price gets here and we start seeing weak rejection through scaling down technique, either to the 15 minutes or 30 minutes, we'll take the sell. Stop loss above. Your safest stop loss should be above the trend line. Just make sure it's above the trend line, because the logic is if price is going to continue bearish, there's no point for price to break above the level. So just make sure your stop loss is above the trend line. So that's what we are waiting for. Wait for the pullback to happen before taking the trade. So that's the analysis for gold. We are going to also be analyzing the Bitcoin USD. So let's go back to Bitcoin USD and see what's happening there. So on Bitcoin USD, we started our analysis the same way, using the 4-hour time frame. The first thing we did when we come to our chart is to identify the overall trend of the market. You can see that market is making higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low structure. So this is a clean bullish structure. The structure is up. We are only looking for buys. So isolate the last level that price created. Price created this level, came back to that level and still respected it. You can see price haven't broke above below the trend line. Whenever price come close to the trend line, price rally back up, price rally up. So price is still respecting the trend line. We are still looking for buys. So once we mark out this level, we can say that this is our retest or this is our support level. Price is holding at this level. So once we did that, because price have already pushed, so we isolate another level here. When we scale down to see the behavior of candle around that level, we also isolate an area. So this is an area in the market we isolate. We expect price to pull back to that level for a retest before we get the continuation. The candle is already turning bearish, so once price gets to the level, we'll look for the buys. Stop loss below the level for a continuation back up. Don't just know where to enter the market, but also have a target in mind. Remember, this is a resistance level. Price has been here and left a week, so this is a resistance level in the market. So if you buy here, just make sure your TP is before the level. We are not saying that price will not break above, but might get a reaction at that level. So if you buy here, stop loss below for a continuation back. This should be your target. So that's the analysis for BTC. So let's see. So if you have any question, drop it down in the comment section below so that I'll respond to you. And if there's any pair you want me to analyze, so let's continue the analysis. We have analyzed gold, BTC, Bitcoin, and we are going to go on to pound JPY and EURUSD. So we are currently on pound JPY. We always start from the higher time frame, which is the 4 hour. So once you're on the 4 hour, you get the accurate information using the higher time frames. So you can see the trend is down, the candles are red. That means we are only looking for selling opportunity on Bitcoin. But to do that, it's almost the same trade setup with gold. To do that, we are going to first, we can identify that price have been bearish. This candle have stretched, this candle have been pushing down for a very long time. It has overstretched compared to the previous candles. So we are going to isolate, we are going to mark out a 50% retracement. We expect price to pull back and retrace at least to 50% before finally going down. So this is our retracement level, 50% retracement. Let me illustrate that with some arrows so that you guys understand this. We want a 50% retracement, and after the retracement, once we get our confirmation through weak rejection, we'll take the sales here, stop loss above. Sorry about the noise, focus on the analysis. Stop loss above for a continuation back down. So there's a lot of noise in the background, so I have to put on back the music. Sorry about that.
Look behind your back. Chase a light when the world is getting darker. I have a dream where love's the only side. So take my hand, join the army of the shadows. Going harder, we are more than numbers. Standing in this air, going louder. We are all one color, standing in their way. Join the army of the shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Shadows, shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Going harder. We are more than numbers. Standing in their shade. Going louder. We are all one color. Standing in their way. Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying out its prayer. Why are we so ashamed to be alive? Break the chains and our freedom's ours to take. look behind your back. Chase a light when the world is getting darker. I have a dream where love's the only side. So take my hand, join the army of the shadows. Going harder, we are more than numbers, standing in the shade. Going louder, we are all one color, standing in the way. Join the army of the shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Join the army of the shadows, shadows, shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Going harder, we are more than numbers, standing in the shade. Going louder, we are all one color, standing in the way. Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying out its prayer. Why are we so ashamed to be alive? Break the chains and our freedom's ours to take. Going harder, we are more than numbers, standing in the shade. Going louder, we are all one color, standing in the way. Don't look behind your back. Chase a light when the world is getting darker. I have a dream where love's the only side. So take my hand, join the army of the shadows. Going harder, we are more than numbers, standing in the shade. Going louder, we are all one color, standing in the way. run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind